In 1970s New York, one name inspired terror: Roy DeMeo. He wasn't just another mobster, he was a force of nature, a shadow over Brooklyn. His reputation was built on fear, not charm. People who crossed him didn't just get hurt, they vanished, becoming ghosts in a city already haunted by crime. Roy's rise was brutal and methodical, starting as a hungry young tough in Canarsie. Violence was his shortcut to power. He caught the eye of Nino Gaggi, a Gambino captain who saw in DeMeo a man with no limits. Under Nino, DeMeo climbed fast, reporting to boss Paul Castellano. Castellano valued earners, and DeMeo was among the best. At the core of his power was his crew killers like the Gemini Twins, Joseph Testa and Anthony Center, and others who shared his violent code. They weren't just criminals, they were a machine of death, operating with chilling efficiency. Their method of murder and disposal left law enforcement baffled for years. In a world of dangerous men, the DeMeo Crew stood apart. If you owed money, you paid. If you were a rival, you disappeared. There were no second chances. Their violence was a language, spoken fluently and without remorse. Whispers said they'd killed dozens, maybe hundreds. No one knew for sure. The true number is lost to the shadows. They were the boogeymen of the underworld, and Roy DeMeo was their cold, calculating leader. On Flatlands Avenue, the Gemini Lounge looked like any neighborhood bar. But behind its doors, it was the DeMeo Crew's slaughterhouse. Here, men walked in and never walked out. The crew perfected the Gemini Method lure: kill, dismember, and dispose. Victims were shot, bled, and cut up in a plastic-lined bathroom. Body parts were boxed and dumped at the Fountain Avenue landfill, evidence lost forever. For the crew, murder became routine, a job done with chilling detachment. The bar's reputation grew, its name whispered in fear. Locals sensed something was wrong, but no one dared ask questions. The Gemini Lounge became a symbol of absolute power and terror. Its legend outlived the men who made it infamous. Murder was just one part of the DeMeo Crew's business. Their main goal was money, and they pursued it relentlessly. They ran a vast car theft ring, stealing thousands of vehicles and raking in millions. Loan sharking and extortion brought in steady cash. Miss a payment and you risked your life. They muscled into businesses, offering protection from themselves. Drug trafficking, though forbidden by boss Castellano, was too lucrative to resist. Marijuana, cocaine, quaaludes, DeMeo's network thrived in the shadows. The crew managed crime like a business, eliminating competition with lethal force. DeMeo was the CEO of a criminal corporation built on fear. Money flowed in from every direction, fueling their power. They were entrepreneurs of violence, not just thugs. The DeMeo Crew became one of New York's most profitable and feared units. In Massapequa, Long Island, Roy played the devoted family man. He lived in a quiet home, attended school events, and handed out ice cream to neighborhood kids. To neighbors, he was friendly and generous, a model citizen. But behind closed doors, he was one of America's most ruthless killers. Roy was able to compartmentalize his life with chilling ease. He could oversee a murder, then help his son with homework hours later. His family knew he was mobbed up, but not the gruesome details. This double life required discipline and a lack of conscience. The loving father and the cold-blooded killer were on a collision course. Roy's end began with the violence that made him powerful. The FBI closed in, linking his crew to countless murders and crimes. Pressure mounted, informants flipped, and the mob grew paranoid. Boss Paul Castellano feared DeMeo would betray Omerta if arrested. DeMeo became a liability, a threat to the entire Gambino family. Even his mentor, Nino Gaggi, turned on him to save himself. In January 1983, Roy vanished. Days later, his body was found in his Cadillac, shot in the head, a final message. Roy and his crew left a legacy of terror, with up to 200 murders attributed to them. Roy perfected murder, built an empire, and was ultimately destroyed by the world that he ruled.